Hi guys, sorry I'm a bit late. I've been having a little bit of an issue with our wireless, so I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully I'll be able to keep chatting, you'll be able to pop on and stay with me. I have found a nice little quiet spot in the house, so just so you know, my kids are home, obviously being after school, so they may pop their heads in, may have to answer a few questions for them. Okay, so we're going to talk about product expiry, storage and usage, and believe it or not, this is really important for all types of personal care products, whether they've got chemicals or not, more so for products that don't have as many chemicals because normally the preservatives aren't as high, so all that is really important. Something that I find is my pet hate is sunscreens. I find so many people just don't store their sunscreens correctly, they're not using them correctly, and most of the time they are so expired it's not funny. So that's something that I kind of want to talk about first. I've had over the years, especially being I'm a beauty therapist, so by trade, I started beauty therapy in 1999 after I did my course. During that time, the amount of reactions I have seen from sunscreen is phenomenal. Majority of the time, it's not from necessarily the ingredients in the sunscreen, but it's because it's been stored incorrectly and it's expired. So there's actually two instances that I can discuss with you. So there was somebody who had severe reaction, so they'd broken out, they were red, blotchy, pimply, mainly on their face. And both of those times they were stored incorrectly. So the first one was actually on a job site, and the sunscreen was, as most employers do, they buy the big bulk sunscreens, and it was stored in the just outside in the shed. Now on a hot day, like especially that we get here in Brisbane, underneath that shed can sometimes be up to 40 degrees. Now if you actually read your storage on most sunscreens, it's stored below 30 degrees. So this sunscreen was being left out quite regularly in way above average temperatures for the sunscreen, and it was also expired, and I mean expired by like 3 years. So they had their employees using this sunscreen regularly every day, applying it to their skin, and it was expired and it was being stored in the wrong area. So even though the big bulk sunscreens, people look at them and go, oh, they're great, they're such good value for money, you know, we're going to get it. Majority of the time, people are using them and they're about 3 years out of date. So that's something really important to keep in mind. The other person was actually had it stored in their car. So how many of you have actually got sunscreens thrown in your glove box in the car just for, you know, for when you need it? Think about how hot it can get in our cars here in Brisbane when it's all locked up in the sun. So again, that sunscreen's being stored incorrectly and it may even be expired, so it's worth having a look at. With products in general, a lot of people ask me why I do DIY, and the reason being is that I can control what ingredients, I know what ingredients are going into it, and I can make smaller batches. Obviously with DIY we're not using any chemicals or anything like that. Sometimes we have a natural preservative, like a slight natural preservative like vitamin E in the product, but in general there's not a preservative. So you want to make a quantity that you're going to use quite quickly, so that you're not wasting your product. It's really important if you're doing DIY to be storing these products correctly, and not just once you've made them, also your ingredients. So once you've purchased your DIY ingredients, you need to put them into somewhere cool and dark and keep them there and keep them dry. Follow the instructions on the packaging as to how to store them. When you're making your DIY recipe, make sure that you're using ingredients that are not expired and have been stored correctly. And then once you make your product, you want to store it correctly again. So whether that be in a dark, cool place, in the fridge, anything, you know, depending on what you're making, you need to store it correctly, airtight container, all that type of thing. Again, when you go to use your products, you want to use a spatula, okay? So if you're digging in, instead of using your hands, if you have to use your hands, make sure they're clean and dry. But if you can, use a spatula. That's just like a little bamboo kind of disposable spatula that I've got there from when I used to use in the salon. Or there's some tongue depressors, same type of thing. But if you want to do more of environmentally friendly, go for go and get a spoon. Like, it's great, you can just wash it. Like, spoon's great. Try and avoid plastic if you can, obviously, for the chemical factor and also for the environmental factor. But, you know, if you can use a spoon, or when you go next time, go to the Vinnie's or something like that, have a look and see if you can find those little flat antique spoons and use them as your spatulas. They're fantastic. So, and they're groovy too, so that's always a great option. Again, when you're doing that, if you're using something in the shower or the bath, try and avoid getting water into it because it can increase bacteria and things like that. So that's pretty much what I can tell you. If you've got any questions or anything like that, you're on watching, please put them up because I can see you all there. So pop up your questions and I can answer them. I'd love to answer them. So that's pretty much storage and usage for DIY products. So let's talk about products that you purchase from the supermarket, or anywhere for that matter. So chances are that they will last a little bit longer because they may have a natural preservative or more preservatives in them. It's so important, again, to check our expiry date. So I'm a big believer in when people come to me and they're saying, I want to change this to chemical free, I want to change my life to chemical free, or I'm always saying to them, look, don't just go and throw everything out. You need to go through, and when you finish with something, then look at that. However, if you have opened your sink up in your bathroom and you have 12 products sitting there that you haven't used, samples, like, come on, let's be honest, we all do it. There's probably samples, things that you've been given and just sitting there and you haven't used them in 2 years, but you just keep them just in case. I bet you if you look on them, they're expired. If they're expired, throw them out. Please, just throw them in the bin. Just pick them up, throw them out. I know it's hard, but if we're using, it's just like would you drink expired milk? No. And using expired products is ridiculous. They have an expiry for a reason. So if you're purchasing a product pre-made and it has an expiry date, there's a reason. Maybe some of those chemicals are going to react differently after a certain amount of time. Maybe once they're expired, they're going to do terrible damage to your skin. Like, there's an expiry date for a reason. It's not just there for labelling. If there's an expiry date on it, follow the expiry date, throw it out. That's the best way to do it. Now, you might look at your product and go, no, there's no expiry date. Mine doesn't have an expiry date. There will be something on there that has an expiry date. So double check. If it doesn't, the best way to do it, most products will expire 6 to 12 months after opening. So another great thing, if you purchase your product or if you're making a DIY product, the day that you open it, or if you're doing the product the day you make it, put the date on it. And then you know, okay, is this expired? Doesn't have an expiry date, but it's got, used 12 months, expired 12 months after opening. I can't even remember when I bought it. So that's why it's so important to put an expiry date, a date that you purchased on it. So then you can look at it and go, oh, that was 6 months ago. Oh, it says used 6 months after opening. I better throw that out. So let's have a look here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. I'll give it a go. I'm going to use my friends from Bubbles Organic because I love them. They've got a little symbol on here which is their expiry thing, so it means 12 months after opening. So I'm going to try and put it up there. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know what it's going to be like if it's going to focus properly. Can you see that on the edge there? It kind of looks like a little, hang on. There we go. Can you see that? So it looks like a little jar with the lid open and it has 12 and an M. So that means please use within 12 months of opening. So, like I said, you buy your product, get a pen out, write down when you open it, and then you know in 12 months, oh, yep, 12 months old, let's throw that out. Easy. There won't be any reactions. There won't be any smelly products. There's nothing worse than, and that's another thing that I find, and you will notice, if something's expired, it loses its smell. It almost smells like, especially products that are purchased, if they've been fragranced or stuff, they tend to start smelling like Play-Doh, I find anyway. So I don't know if that's what you find, but I quite often find you go, oh, that's a bit smelly. It smells a little bit like Play-Doh. If you open up your products and there's mold inside them, always check the lids too. So look on the inside of your lids. If there's mold on the inside of the lids, then chances are there's bacteria growing in your products, so I would suggest you throw it out. So again, yes, with DIY we do make smaller portions to kind of avoid these type of things from happening. We use it quicker, and then it doesn't expire, and we're not wasting money or time, I guess, money and product. So that's the best thing to do. Is there any questions? Has anyone out there got any questions for me? Just checking. Got a few people watching. Any questions? Yeah, so I think I've pretty much covered it. I will be doing a blog on this because it is something I'm really passionate about. It always amazes me how many people you'll open something, and makeup's a terrible thing. Your mascara, if you've got an expiry date on your mascara, then you should really get rid of it, because it's another thing, the amount of people who will get eye reactions and things like that. Your mascara, you should really only, like, it's about 6 months, if I'm correct. I know I've had this conversation before, but normally within 6 months from opening, it's no good, because I mean, you're putting that stuff on your eye. It's unavoidable. To get longer out of it, you can buy disposable mascara ones, which are always a great idea, but again, it's an environmental thing. But yeah, that mascara is something that you've really got to watch with expiry dates. Sunscreen, just trying to think other things, like obviously your basics, face cream, all that type of thing. For your kids, you know, most things go pretty quickly, but yeah, just go through your bathroom cupboards and have a look and see what's expired. It's really, really important, because I know as women you get all these sample bags or whatever, and you get thrown in all this stuff. Like, think of if we've had kids, you get these great mum bags and they've got all these things in it. You think, oh, I'll keep that, and next minute your kid's 2 and it's been expired since they were 3 months old. So and I bet you still have them all in your cupboard too. It's all sitting there. So yeah, get in there and check them out and see. And I'd love to, if you do it, and you feel brave, take a photo and share it and see, like, you know, I'd love to see how many people have got a sink full of expired products in their bathroom cupboards. So yeah, go for it and send it our way. I'd love to see it. I think that's pretty much it. Like I said, if you've got any questions, I'm about to head off, so I'm surprised my kids haven't come in and bothered me, so that's great. I got it done. And like I said, I will be doing a blog on this in the next few weeks, so keep an eye out for that. I'd love to do another video maybe next week. I'll see how I go. I'll let you all know what the topic is. If you've got any topics that you'd like me to chat about, feel free to see me, or drop me a Facebook message, email, anything like that. I'd love to have a chat. Okay. Hey Bev, how are you? You do have some, do you know how long it's been there? Bev, do you know how long the sunscreen in your car's been there? So I've got my first message. Someone's just commented that they've got sunscreen in their car. Bev's just commented that she's got sunscreen in her car. So I'd love to know if she knows how long it's been there. But yeah, I know it's hard because, not sure. Okay, yeah. I know it's hard because it's great to have it in your car just for that safety. But sometimes it's probably better off to actually keep it in our handbag. And if you're worried about it spilling or anything like that, throw it in a clip seal bag. Even though they're plastic, they're fantastic for things like that. So throw the sunscreen in a clip seal bag and throw it in your handbag. That's probably the best way of doing it, so you've always got it. Because or if you've got another way that you can store it without it getting too hot in the car. But generally speaking, our cars are so warm, and like I said, oh wow, a couple of years. So it might be time for a new one, honey Bev. Yeah, because our cars are so warm, so they do tend to heat things like that up, and they'd just be terrible reaction wise. Okay, well, I think that's it for me, and I look forward to hearing from you all soon. Like I said, throw me a message if you want me to chat about anything next week. I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to post it on the wall of my Facebook page, or email, message, anything like that. And yeah, I'll have a great afternoon, and I'll speak to you soon. See ya! Oh, and before I forget, what you can is enough. See ya!